Man, we're gonna jump straight into it. It's another episode. I got the homie Big Doug in the building right now. What's good, Doug?
And shoot, it's good to see you. I feel like
Man, I'm
it's
blessed.
been too long.
Yeah, man, I'm blessed, man. It's a lot that's happened lately, man. I really don't even have a pivotable point because I think all these things are interconnected. I think that all the things in society work together. But um, I do have a few specific areas and topics that I'd love to explore with you, man.
Yeah, man, let's do
Cool. Um, LA Lakers.
it.
LeBron James is a phenom. I think that we saw him look like he was 40 years old for the first time. Or maybe the defense was good, or maybe he was tired, or maybe he just had an off night. Um,
Which one? Which game you talking about?
I'm talking about the last game they played, the elimination game where Anthony Davis slayed that team where they got wrecked. Um, I think that's what it was, and I respect that. I don't think it was more complicated um, than what we saw. Yeah, he's 40, but he played a hard game and things weren't going their way. But I don't want to do a monologue like I've been doing on the podcast lately. I want to hear your perspective.
Well, I'm curious. Are you implying that his uh his failure in the first round of the playoffs was due to his last game against Anthony Davis?
I'm sorry, Anthony Edwards.
Oh, okay. I was about to say like that's so that's very long ago. Okay, but I'll say this: that young boy deserves all the credit
Yeah,
for what happened. I if we're going to talk about LeBron, I would just talk about LeBron in the same way that I would talk about AC Green at this point.
wow, that's a
Like
low blow.
I've never considered him in the GOAT conversation, so I'm not going to start now.
But no one ever said Bill Russell was the GOAT either. And I think that's a fair assessment of how we, the casual fans, view the game. We're so detached. We have favorites. We like guys with stories like this young man.
I don't know. I don't know his story, man. I'm extremely detached from the NBA, so I have no idea what's going on with them. All I'm just simply saying is um, what Jordan did in what Jordan did in such a short period of time without failure, I might add, without any failure. Okay, he's never let any finals go 7 games. Like he's never allowed that. That's and he's won every one he's been a part of.
You love
So
that. You love that. I get it. I get
because
it.
you can't you that is there's something about results that I find more impressive than accolades.
Okay.
But
I'm not sure if we need to
hear another
confirm
thing.
that Jordan had a career on 24 finals wins, but that sounds appropriate.
Yeah,
And
he's never won 7 games. He's never done
yeah,
that before.
yeah. But that's what we romanticize. I think that's what the casual fan romanticizes about basketball is MJ back in the day being unreal off the set of Space Jam. It's not the same league. There's so much talent in the NBA today. You got guys like goofy ass Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyrese Halliburton kind of
Yeah, he's nice
going
though.
at it. They light skin.
He's nice. Hey, I meant to ask you, since we on the subject of NBA, uh,
Man,
do you see Golden State winning tomorrow?
Yuck. I actually do though. I think that it's turning into a bit of a contest, and I want to see what they do.
Yeah. I want them to go back to the finals, man. Honestly, I mean, considering Steph is more successful in the finals than the latter.
Aforementioned goat. Absolutely, sure, sure, sure. One more ring would put him up, and that's really scary. So we'll see.
um,
We'll see.
but let's pivot a little bit
Uh,
because I wanna get into Deion Sanders' son.
we're gonna talk about Shador. Now, I want to hear where you're going with this.
What do they refer to these kids as? The ones that come from a silver spoon. What do they refer to them as?
Legacy?
Okay, we can use that. We can use that. But I'll say this. I'll say this. Has anybody learned nothing from Cam Newton? I mean,
Um,
has Cam Newton not been a cautionary tale to all black kids that have talent?
what do you mean?
Cam Newton was was damn near perfect in reference to what you want physically from a quarterback.
Sure.
Everything I would want from a quarterback physically and power wise, he already had coming into the league. And from what I've learned, the only issue they had with him obviously was his attitude. Um, but you know, there were antics that the NFL was willing to deal with at the time.
He thought he was a star, is the attitude that I've heard. Things he was not willing to do that they felt were detrimental to the team's success.
Who you talking about? You talking about Cam Newton?
Yeah, I'm talking about
Well,
Cam.
I mean, I imagine that later on in his career, he did more than enough to put him over the hill. But I'm talking about like coming into the league, right?
Mm,
Because this
okay.
whole situation is about another young dude trying to get into the league, but he's doing it on the back of his daddy, as if his daddy's skills back in the day have to translate just because.
I don't think that's a fair comparison, though, for a lot of reasons. I want to let you finish your point, but I don't think that that's a fair comparison.
I
I
don't think
think
it's a comparison. I think it's like I said, it's a lesson to be learned though.
I think that that applies, but I don't think that it's a direct line. I don't think a lot of this stuff is linear. Let's
So
start
you
with
think do you think that he was somehow blackballed, or do you think it was his
yes.
fault?
So Dion had all the skills to talk that ish 40 years ago. Um, you could do that because Prime was really in. He was playing two sports. Um, the point I want to make is look at his stat sheet. Deion Sanders is Hall of Famer, but he didn't have overwhelming stats given he played on defense. My point is Shador Sanders is completely opposite his father. He is I think that it's annoying how Dion being able to coach him kept him under center and didn't let him use athleticism because Dion didn't want to have that be his son's excuse, right? Is that he's a mobile quarterback, is that he can improvise. He made his son annoyingly, a pocket passer. You can do that when you're the coach. So here's what I think is really going to happen when he translates to the league. I think that learning the offense, it's not going to be overwhelming to him. I think people are going to be so impressed with his smarts. They're going to act like he's a fucking rocket scientist. And they're going to start talking about his intangibles. And then that's going to be the key to his success. I think that he's going to become known as helping scout team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If he rises to the role of starting quarterback, or like I've said in other podcast episodes, my predictions, he could be a Pro Bowler in 3 or 4 years. Within
That's
five,
being optimistic.
Within 5, yeah, within 5, he'd have to be a Pro Bowler, or he will no longer be in the league.
Okay, so I'm just going to push back a little bit because
Mhm.
my issue isn't skill based.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry. I'm talking about. Hell yeah, you know that the rich black kid is gonna get different blowback. I'm just saying that as a prospect, in all truth, that's where we are with Shador, and I bet you agree with me on that.
no,
But
because I think that you underestimate the greed of a billionaire.
mm, I do,
Matter of fact, I think that most black people underestimate the greed of billionaires,
sure.
especially when it comes to somebody like Dion,
Hmm.
right? Somebody like Dion. When I think of what Dion was in the '80s, I think of somebody that is definitely going to make a commercial be seen, right? He's going his ability to bring eyes to him was very well known at the time, right?
Yeah,
However, it was evident at that time that his athletic ability was it was hard to argue with him in those regards, right? It's hard to argue with a person that is outrunning the ball. Okay, so do you remember that do you remember Forrest Gump?
yeah. He
Remember
never
when
got
he had
touched.
yeah, when he ran onto the field and he ran past the ball even though he had ran past the quarterback after he had already threw the ball. And he
And they had
literally
to
caught up.
redirect him to go the right way, right?
Well, no. I'm just talking about that very first time the coach ever saw him. The very first thing he saw him do was something superhuman. Okay, so what we saw Dion doing was very superhuman
Okay.
on the field, right? So by the time he got to the league, it was really hard to tell him no, right? It's really hard to not see this kid's way. This kid is a star. This kid is going to make me a lot of money. So you can see why billionaires would jump in the line trying to get him to be a part of their organization to make them money. When I see Shador, I don't see star power.
Mm.
So, with that being said, you're going to have to produce things skill based, but you don't show up to workouts. You don't have good interviews. You don't
Mm.
show up to interviews. You don't get to do that just because your daddy was Dion. Now, if your daddy was uh uh
Tom
who
Brady.
Tom Brady, there you go. If it were Tom Brady, I at least would just watch the video one more time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let me watch his video one more time. Just to see. But I mean, Dion was superhuman fast, right? Uh, but I
Guys
don't
are faster
remember
now.
I don't remember his hands being in the same conversation as Jerry Rice's hands.
Well,
I
come
don't
on,
rem-
stop playing. That's what I was talking about. His stats. He was a wide receiver, cornerback. He probably, I think he played both sides,
I mean, he was a phenom on both sides of the field, and I'm not saying he wasn't.
and he
I'm not
played for
arguing with
Steelers,
him.
and
I'm
he
just
played.
saying that Shador, he doesn't translate Shador's life
No, I
at all
agree. Because Shador could never play in the Super Bowl and a World Series in the same day.
in the
Because
same day.
right,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah, that's
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 crazy.
insane.
Like the fact that he pulled it off.
He won both.
And got away with it. And got away with it.
Ridiculous.
He didn't get ran out the league like T.O.
Oh my
or
goodness,
or he
T.O. was the
or
greatest physical specimen the NFL
I
had
love
ever known.
T.O.
Yeah.
Ran out the league like him. He didn't get run out the league like old buddy from the Steelers or
Who from the Steelers? Russell Wilson?
Brown. Brown, what's his name? Wasn't it Brown?
Antonio Brown. Yeah.
Antonio Brown. These
He didn't
people
get
have
run out. Le'Veon Bell didn't
remarkable
get kicked
skills,
out. It said they
but
couldn't believe Steelers ownership wasn't Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones, he's building everyone a mansion and he keeps growing and growing and growing, but he's not winning, and that's okay.
yeah, yeah. And I think his biggest issue is I think Jerry Jones' biggest issue is he just makes the relationships before he handles business.
No, he has a product. He's selling crack. People love the Dallas Cowboys.
I guess I said he's selling crack.
But don't they? From come on now. I hate to say it, but in Washington D.C., in the nation's capital, there are more Cowboys fans than probably the rest of the nation outside of
It's
Dallas.
America's team, bro.
People say it's America's team, but I live in Dallas, so I see how much they love the Cowboys, but outside of Dallas, I only see it in specific people. Places like DC, it's concentrated, but I promise you, most of the nation. Tell me if I'm wrong. Say something in the comments. No disrespect, it's America's team, but it's because they're spread out everywhere. They're not. It can't be concentrated. I guess. I don't know because they're every.
But it doesn't have to be because I would be so easily willing to argue that every 10 NFL fans is a there's at least one Cowboy fan in that bucket.
Yeah, absolute hands down. I agree. That's what it's a phenomena. It's what it is. It's Jerry Jones is selling crack. People want to be their fans because if you guys don't remember, it wasn't too long ago when fucking Mark Cooper was the best player for the Golden State Warriors. If you guys don't remember, it was not too long ago when Oklahoma City hadn't won any championship. Oh, wait. My point is very greatness is concentrated in all of North American sports. The Patriots and the Steelers are the winningest franchises in football. Nobody else is touching them. Basketball, it was the Celtics and the Lakers, and the Celtics just beat them. They just by one. So now, like I'm saying, if you have the perspective and the awareness that half of the championships are only won by a couple of teams, America's team is the most fascinating of all sports organizations.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, but hey, man, I'm gonna have to run here soon. But I want to. What I want to tell you? Oh yeah, man. I might be trying to look for some property out there in Texas.
Man, so, you need to do it.
Yeah, I was looking at Plano. I don't know what you know, but I was looking at Plano.
That's the spot. That's where it goes down there. That's where you need to be at. I got you. Let's discuss that.
Don't you got a realtor?
Yeah, I got. Okay. I got a guy I want to get you connected to, and he knows everything about all that stuff. I think you'll like him a lot. I'll send you his info.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right, man. But I'm gonna let you go, man. But it's always good seeing you.
Man, we got to do it soon, man.
All right, man. Well, next time, brother.
Peace.
All right.